Imagine young men just out of their teens, leaving behind their families, dreams, and peaceful lives to enter the chaos of World War I. They faced unimaginable horrors, relentless shelling, suffocating gas attacks, and the constant presence of death. Yet, amid this brutality, some soldiers wielded pens as skillfully as rifles. They transformed their anguish, courage, and reflections into timeless poetry, gifting us with haunting and beautiful verses that transcend the battlefield. These soldier poets were not only fighters, they were the voices of their generation, shaping our understanding of the war today. From Wilfred Owen's tragic poignancy to Siegfried Sassoon's sharp critiques, Rupert Brooke's romantic idealism, and Robert Graves's unflinching realism, each poet contributed something unique to the literary world. Join us as we explore their lives, works, and enduring legacies. Wilfred Owen, the poet of pity. Born in Shropshire, England. On March 1893, Wilfred Owen grew up passionate about poetry and the arts. After teaching in France, he enlisted in 1915. Serving as a second lieutenant in the Manchester Regiment, he was wounded and diagnosed with shell shock in 1917, where Owens was then treated at Craiglockhart War Hospital, where he met Siegfried Sassoon. Sassoon became his mentor, inspiring Owen to write some of his most celebrated poems, including Anthem for Doomed Youth and Dulce et Decorum Est. Owen's work stands out for its vivid, uncompromising portrayal of war's brutality, challenging romanticized views of conflict. A recipient of the Military Cross for bravery, Owen returned to the front in 1918, but was killed on November 4th, just a week before the armistice. Though few of his poems were published during his lifetime, Owen's posthumous collection cemented his legacy as one of the greatest voices of World War I, remembered for his poignant compassion and stark realism.
Dulce et Decorum Est by Wilfred Owen. Bent double, like old beggars under sacks. Knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through sludge, till on the haunting flares we turned our backs, and towards our distant rest began to trudge. Men marched asleep. Many had lost their boots, but limped on bloodshot. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue, deaf even to the hoots of tired, outstripped 5-9s that dropped behind. Gas, gas, quick boys! An ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time. But someone still was yelling out and stumbling, and floundering like a man in fire or lime. Dim through the misty panes and thick green light, as under a green sea I saw him drowning, in all my dreams before my helpless sight. He plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning, if in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in, and watch the wide eyes writhing in his face, his hanging face like a devil sick of sin. If you could hear at every jolt the blood come gargling from the froth-corrupted lungs, obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud, of vile, incurable sores on innocent tongues, my friend, you would not tell with such high zest. To children ardent for some desperate glory, the old late Dulce et Decorum Est pro patria mori.
Siegfried Sassoon, the voice of protest. Siegfried Sassoon, born in 1886 and passed away in 1977, he was born into a wealthy English-Jewish family and led a privileged life of poetry and fox hunting before World War I. Sassoon joined the Royal Welsh Fusiliers when war broke out, earning the Military Cross for bravery. His experiences on the front lines fueled his anger at the war's senseless prolongation, leading him to pen an open letter of protest, accusing leaders of deliberately extending the conflict. Diagnosed with shell shock in 1917, Sassoon was hospitalized, where he continued to write. Sassoon's poetry, collected in Counterattack and Other Poems, as well as the War Poems of Siegfried Sassoon, is known for its harsh realism and biting satire. Works like Glory of Women critique society's romanticized view of war, while others vividly capture the horrors of trench life. Though controversial, his poems resonated deeply, offering an unflinching view of soldiers' experiences and a fierce condemnation of the war's futility. After the war, Sassoon turned to pacifism and politics, writing autobiographical novels such as Memoirs of an Infantry Officer, which was hailed as a masterpiece of wartime literature. Later in life, he embraced Catholicism, though his spiritual poetry was less celebrated than his earlier works. Sassoon remains a pivotal figure in war poetry, and his searing critiques are still as poignant today as they were a century ago.
Glory of Women by Siegfried Sassoon. You love us when we're heroes, home on leave, or wounded in a mentionable place. You worship decoration. You believe that chivalry redeems the war's disgrace. You make us shells. You listen with delight, by tales of dirt and danger fondly thrilled. You crown our distant ardors while we fight, and mourn our laureled memories when we're killed. You can't believe that British troops retire when hell's last horror breaks them, and they run, trampling the terrible corpses blind with blood. O German mother dreaming by the fire, while you are knitting socks to send your son, his face is trodden deeper in the mud.
Rupert Brooke, the poet of idealism and patriotism. Born on August 3, 1887 in Rugby, England, Rupert Brooke became one of the most famous poets of the early 20th century. Known for his good looks and charm, he was admired for his talent and patriotic fervor. A prominent figure in Cambridge's intellectual circles, Brooke's poetry often celebrated nature, love, and romantic views of life. His early works were part of the Georgian poetry movement, emphasizing romanticized rural life. Brooke joined the Royal Navy Volunteer Reserve when World War I broke out, and his wartime sonnets, especially the 1914 sequence, became iconic. His most famous poem, The Soldier, embodies the hopeful patriotism of the time, presenting death in battle as a noble sacrifice. Brooke's death from blood poisoning in 1915 at age 27, while en route to the Gallipoli campaign, sealed his legacy as a martyr for his country. Though some critics later deemed his work overly sentimental, Brooke's poetry captured the spirit of pre-war England and remains a key part of literary history.
The Soldier by Rupert Brooke. If I should die, think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. There shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed, a dust whom England bore, shaped, made aware, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of England's breathing English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by sons of home, and think this heart all evil shed away, a pulse in the eternal mind no less. Give somewhere back the thoughts by England given, her sights and sounds, dreams happy as her day, and laughter learnt of friends, and gentleness, in hearts at peace under an English heaven.
Robert Graves, the poet of war and myth. Robert Graves, born in 1895 in Wimbledon, London, was a poet, novelist, and scholar whose work captured the complex realities of war and its aftermath. Serving as a captain in the Royal Welsh Fusiliers during World War I, Graves experienced firsthand the horrors of battle, including a near-fatal injury at the Battle of the Somme. His early poetry, like Over the Brazier, boldly confronted the brutal truths of war, standing out for its raw realism. While much of his writing in the 1910s grappled with these horrors, Graves also turned to themes of innocence and peace, contrasting the violence of war with memories of a simpler, more idyllic past. This dichotomy of experience is powerfully expressed in his later works, especially in Last Day of Leave, a poem written long after the war's end. The poem reflects on the fleeting nature of peace and the haunting shadow of war, evoking the sense of a soldier's final moments of calm before returning to the front. It captures the internal conflict of a man torn between the hope of escape and the inescapable pull of duty. Through the lens of his own experience, Graves portrays the sense of resignation and inevitability felt by so many soldiers, making Last Day of Leave a poignant meditation on the enduring scars of war, even in moments of apparent tranquility.
We five looked out over the moor, at rough hills blurred with haze and a still sea. Our tragic day bountiful from the first. We would spend it by the lily lake, high in a fold beyond the farthest ridge, following the cart track till it faded out, the time of berries and bell heather. Yet all that morning nobody went by, but shepherds and one old man carting turfs. We were in love, he with her, she with him, And I, the youngest one, the odd man out, as deep in love with a yet nameless muse. No cloud larks and heath butterflies, and herons undisturbed fishing the streams. A slow, cool breeze that hardly stirred the grass. When we hurried down the rocky slope, a flock of ewes galloping off in terror. There shone the water lilies, yellow and white. Deep water and a shelving bank. Off went our clothes and in we went, all five, diving like trout between the lily groves. The basket had been nobly filled. Wine and fresh rolls, chicken and pineapple. Our braggadocio under threat of war. The fire on which we boiled our kettle. We fed with ling and rotten blackthorn root, and the coffee tasted memorably of peat. 2 of us might stray off together, but never less than 3 kept by the fire. Focus of our uncertain destinies. We spoke little, our minds in tune. A sigh or laugh would settle any theme. The sun so hard it made the rocks quiver. But when it rolled down level with us, 4 pairs of eyes sought mine as if appealing for a blind fate aversive afterward. Do you remember the Lily Lake? We were all there, all 5 of us in love, not one yet killed, widowed, or broken-hearted.
Through their courage and creativity, these soldier poets captured the essence of war in a way that transcends time. Their words offer us a window into the raw emotional truths of their experiences, moments of horror, moments of hope, and everything in between. Through their poetry, we understand the war they fought and the emotional and psychological toll it took on them, shaping their world in art. From Owen's stark realism to Sassoon's powerful critiques, Brooke's romantic idealism, and Graves' haunting reflections on peace and loss, each poet left us with a legacy that continues to resonate. These voices are not just echoes of the past, they remain relevant today, reminding us of the cost of war and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Which poem resonated most with you? Is there a soldier poet whose work we didn't cover that you'd like to share? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation and keep their voices alive.